should never ever get the opportunity to ever hold another baby or to ever be in a caretaker. In my mind, based on the evidence, this child was tortured. Nothing really kind of grabs you like seeing a child or a toddler being the victim of a crime, particularly something as horrific as this particular crime.
What really happened to little Noah Tomlin? He was a sweet, quiet boy with big blue eyes and light hair, loved by everyone who knew him. But something terrible happened in his own home. How could such a young, innocent child face such a tragic fate? Noah Tomlin was a little boy born on May 2nd, 2017, in a place called Hampton, Virginia. His mommy, Julia Leanna Tomlin, was 32 years old when he was born. Noah was super cute with big blue eyes and soft, light hair that looked like little feathers. People who knew him, like his family, said he was quiet, sweet, and loved to hug. When Noah was 2 years old, his mom had 10 kids altogether. Their ages went from a tiny baby who was 7 months old to a big kid who was 15 years old. Noah lived with his mom and 2 of his brothers or sisters in a home called Bayside Mobile Home Village, in a part of Hampton called Buckrow Beach. Noah's mom, Julia, was born on November 1st, 1984. She moved to lots of different places but mostly stayed in an area called Hampton Roads. That's a big place with cities like Newport News, Virginia Beach, and Norfolk, plus some smaller neighborhoods nearby. It's named after a big water area that runs through it, also called Hampton Roads. Julia went to a school called Norview High School, but she didn't finish it. She stopped going to school after 9th grade, which is when you're about 14 or 15 years old. Since July 2018, Julia has lived on a street called Atlantic Avenue in Buckrow Beach. The police came to her trailer a lot of times because things weren't going well there, but we don't know exactly why since those papers are secret. People said Julia had trouble with bad stuff like drugs and alcohol. In 2009, doctors also found out she had some problems with her feelings and thinking, called bipolar, attention deficit, and post-traumatic stress disorders. That means sometimes she felt really up or really down, had a hard time focusing, and felt scared from tough things that happened before. Julia got in trouble with the police because they said she hurt someone in her family. The police told us that Julia and a man she had kids with started fighting when he wanted to stop being with her. They got so mad that they scratched and cut each other, and the man had marks on his face and arms. But after 4 months, the police decided not to keep Julia in trouble anymore. In 2010, Julia had to stay in jail for 5 months because she said she did something wrong called child neglect. That means she didn't take good care of her kid. In April that year, people who help kids, called CEEPs, told the Newport News police to come to Julia's home. They found her 1-year-old little girl with burn marks on her back, shoulders, and arms that looked like they came from a hot stove. Julia said she put her baby on the stove to feed her but didn't know if the stove was off. She was busy with another kid when the baby fell on the hot part. Julia cleaned her up and put her to bed. Either Julia or the baby's dad, Justin Samuel Jones, took her to a doctor later. But it wasn't until 4 days later, when the burns got red and bubbly, that the police found out. That same year in October, Julia got in trouble again for not listening to the police and being loud and drunk outside. Noah had to live with a different family called foster care soon after he was born. We don't know exactly why, or when he went back to live with Julia. Some of his brothers and sisters were already living with other families because of the stove accident. Then, on June 24th, 2019, when Noah was 2 years old, Julia called the police at 11:36 in the morning. She said Noah was gone and missing. She last saw him when she put him to bed at 1 in the morning. The big police boss in Hampton, named Chief Terry Salt, talked to people and said they thought Noah was wearing a diaper and a white and green pajama shirt. The police looked all around the mobile home park where Noah's family lived. They asked other helpers from the state and country to come help too. Chief Salt said, "We're looking everywhere. We'll do everything to bring Noah home safe." After Noah went missing, the police looked all around his house for a few days. They even searched places far away that a little kid like Noah couldn't walk to by himself. The police thought maybe Noah wandered off, or maybe something bad happened, like someone took him. A lady who lived nearby said she often saw Julia outside running after her kids, and Noah especially liked to sneak out a lot. The police searched on the ground, in the sky with little flying machines called drones, and in the water with people who could dive, because Noah's home was close to a river and the big ocean. They looked in trash cans, under buildings, in little sheds in the water, and inside houses. They even checked special cameras on doorbells to see if they could spot Noah. After 2 days with no clues at all, the police moved their big helper truck away. On Wednesday, some of the searchers started looking in a big trash place called a landfill on Big Bethel Road, which was 10 miles from Noah's house. Other helpers looked even farther, outside the state. They said checking the landfill was just a first step they planned to do. A police helper named Sergeant Reginald Williams said, "It's something we thought of from the start to help us figure things out." They didn't have a special reason to look there, but they knew from other times that it's a place to check. It's really sad to think that police know to look in the trash when kids go missing because it's happened before. Even though things looked bad, the police didn't want people to stop hoping Noah was okay. Chief Salt said, "We don't know much more than we did at first, but we still hope Noah is safe and can come home." He told everyone that more helpers from a group called the Virginia Department of Emergency Management came, plus some from the state and the FBI, which is a big police team. They looked in the same places lots of times with different people so they wouldn't miss anything. Chief Salt said, "It's hard for the police and helpers too. You can see they're sad and tired from looking in dirty places like landfills all day and night, but they don't want to stop. They want to find Noah." On Thursday, June 27th, a news person named Dan Kennedy from 13 News put a message on Facebook. He said Noah's mom, Julia, texted him the night before. It was the first time people heard from her. She said, "I'm trying really hard with the police to find my baby. I can't tell anyone where I am or where my other kids are because they need to stay safe." The big police boss in Hampton said Julia and Noah's dad were helping them look for Noah. Their house in Buckrow was still blocked off with special tape that night. Some news people saw police helpers taking bags of stuff from the house that might be clues. The search was starting its 4th day that morning, and Dan said to wait for more news. Julia also texted Channel 10 on your side and said Noah doesn't walk good. He might be autistic. He loves everyone and likes to hug, but she didn't say anything else. That weekend, people planned a special prayer time for Noah where the police truck used to be in Buckrow Beach. They asked everyone to wear green to show love for Noah while they prayed for him to come back safe. But before that prayer time could happen, the police had sad news on Friday. Chief Salt talked to people and said, "Tonight, we're thinking of Noah's family and friends and praying for them. Sadly, we still haven't found Noah. After working hard together, we think he might not be alive anymore. It's hard to talk about, but we're still looking for him and won't stop hoping." He told everyone they caught Noah's mom, Julia, who was 34 years old, because they think she knows something about Noah being gone. He said the police were looking even harder now in special places to find Noah. Chief Salt added, "Please keep Noah and the people who love him in your heart. Our police and helpers are working all the time to find him. We hope he's okay, but it doesn't look good right now." Julia's other kids were taken away from her house by people who help kids, called Skeeps. Some of her other children were already living with family members for a while. On Saturday morning, the police said Julia was in jail at the Hampton City Jail. They said she did 3 big things wrong called felony child neglect, which means she didn't take good care of her kids. That night, people had a special time with candles to pray for Noah, but it wasn't happy anymore because they were worried he wasn't okay. About 100 people came to pray and ask for things to be fair for 2-year-old Noah. Lots of them wore green or held green balloons because that's what Noah had on last time they saw him. Some wore shirts that said "Justice for Noah" or "Where is Noah?" A lady who came told everyone she took care of Noah for a while before he went back to his real mom. She said, "Hey, you guys don't know me. I've been hiding my name all week. Noah was like my baby. A lady texted me last night who gave him to me, and she calls me the mommy of many. When I was 20, I had my little girl and asked God why I couldn't have more babies. Then I got Noah. He called me mommy. I didn't tell people who I was. Sorry, but if you saw the news about the lady who watched Noah, I remember him crawling on my couch the first night he came. I'm sorry, I need my breathing thing," and he smiled at me even though he never met me before. I said, "We can stay up all night if you want," and we did. Bless his sweetheart. And those blue eyes, you couldn't say no to him. I called him no because he always said no, but he sat with me, held my hand and grabbed it like he knew he was safe. This week has been so hard. Why I won't say a bad word because a preacher's here, but we all feel it. I just left my house yesterday because I missed that baby so much I look at his little bed and around the house. My 3 grandkids didn't ask why this little white baby was with us, they're mixed. And they just loved him like family. My 4-year-old granddaughter said, "Ma, see Noah?" I asked, "Where's Noah?" She said, "He's by the TV with me." I think Noah might not be here anymore, but I believe if he's in heaven, my daddy and brothers who aren't here anymore are taking care of him. They'd say, "We got him till you get here. He couldn't walk, just crawl super good, even better than soldiers. We loved him so much while he was with us. My daughter's been really sick and missed work all week. Good thing I don't work, I just hug my grandkids and any baby I can. If you have a baby you can't care for, bring it to me. If someone has Noah, please drop him off somewhere. He'll crawl to you, hug you, kiss you and say, 'Mommy, call Ma.' That's what my grandkids call me. Someone knows how to find me. I'll take that baby, he doesn't need clothes or anything. I don't have money, but I've got love." Amen. Amen. One thing bothers me, lots of kids in the world aren't taken care of right. We need to help them, not just the kid helpers called SEEPs, but everyone. If you see a kid not being treated nice, even a tiny thing, tell someone. Talking is the best thing you can do. On July 1st, Julia went to a place called a courtroom in Hampton for the first time. She walked funny because her leg hurt, and she told the judge she couldn't do everything like other people and got $771 every month. She said she lived in her mobile home in Buckrow Beach with 3 other people, but she didn't say if they were grown-ups or kids. On July 3rd, 10 days after Noah went missing, the police said they found a body they thought might be Noah's. They found it at a place called the Hampton NASA Steam Plant near Wythe Creek, where they burn trash to make power. The police were looking through the garbage and found a little boy's body at 8:50 in the morning, but they still needed to check if it was really Noah. The boy was put inside a Huggies diaper box and wrapped in 3 trash bags before someone threw it away. The police had to look through more than 2 million pounds of trash with their hands to find him. Firefighters had to watch out for bad air stuff like carbon dioxide and methane while the police looked, and they'd tell the police to stop if it got too dangerous. Chief Salt, the big police boss, said the police worked hard in the trash for days. He said, "It's really hot and sticky there. At the steam plant, it's a small space. You smell bad smells, and you're in the middle of it all, knowing you're looking for a little boy, going through tons and tons of garbage." He said it was tough for everyone in the town and the helpers. Some police were crying. I hugged one of our workers this morning who was crying. It's going to take a long time for everyone to feel better after this. The Hampton police told everyone about all the groups that helped look for Noah. There were so many helpers, like the Hampton Fire and Rescue Team, the Emergency Management Group, the big police called the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, the Virginia State Police, the York County Sheriff's Office, the Poquoson Police and Fire Team, the Norfolk Police, the Newport News Police, another emergency group from Virginia, NASA, the Space People, ICE, Customs and Border Patrol, the Air Force helpers, a boat rescue team from Virginia Port Authority, Tidewater Search and Rescue, the Hampton Roads Incident Team, the Chesapeake Fire Team, and even the people who fix roads, pick up trash, and take care of parks in Hampton. That's a huge list. Not many missing people get help from even half of these groups. A few days later, Noah's grandma from his dad's side, Cindy Jones, wrote something on a Facebook page where people in the town talk. She said, "I know you're all wondering why Noah's dad and our family haven't said anything this week while everyone's guessing and talking. Now we're ready to tell you why we've been quiet. Before we share how we feel about this awful thing that happened to 2 families, remember Noah had 9 brothers and sisters who didn't do anything wrong. Because of those 9 kids, we ask people to be careful what they write on the internet. The older kids can see it all, and it makes them really sad and stressed to learn their brother died because of their mom. Think before you write, would you want your kid to read it if it was your family?" We didn't talk before because we have Julia Tomlin's 3 oldest kids. We took them in as our own in 2011 after Julia said she didn't want to be their mom anymore when she went to jail for hurting a kid really bad. Those 3 are our grandkids, and we took care of them for 6 months before they were ours forever. Cindy also said, "There are 2 twins, and one of them got hurt on the stove. Those twins now live with a new family we don't know. There are 3 other boys who live with their dads. The littlest baby is with a foster family right now, and we hope she gets a family who loves her. All these 9 other kids are important to think about after this sad thing happened. Please be nice in what you say or write. People can guess and say mean things, or they can send prayers and good wishes until we know everything that happened. The kids are really hurt and super sad. We really hoped Noah would come home safe and thought maybe it was just a mean trick that went wrong. We thought Julia might have told someone to hide Noah to make his dad mad because he didn't go to her house when he came back. Instead, Noah's dad came straight to see us and his 3 older kids when he got back to Virginia from California on Saturday, June 22nd. He'd been living in California for 2 years and didn't know Julia was going to have Noah until after he moved there for his job. We thought Julia just wanted attention because she's made big problems before when she was upset. But sadly, the worst thing we were scared of happened, and we found out on Wednesday, July 3rd. There's more to tell, but I won't say anything that could hurt the kids, like I asked you not to. Our hearts are broken and we feel so sad it's hard to breathe. Our house feels like it's under a big, gloomy cloud. We're so thankful to everyone who sent love and help. It makes us feel better knowing people care. For those who gave money or things, we want Noah's brothers and sisters to get that kindness from all of you who've been so nice. Thank you so much, Cindy. On July 10th, Julia was moved to a bigger jail called Hampton Roads Regional Jail in a place called Portsmouth. 3 days later, on July 13th, some smart people at the Virginia Department of Forensic Science, who check bodies, used a special test called DNA to make sure the body found at the NASA steam plant was Noah's. Near Noah's house in Buckrow Beach, people made a special spot by a tree to remember him. They put teddy bears, flowers, toys, candles, and little notes there to show they loved him. But a few days after they knew it was Noah, that tree caught fire and burned up. The firefighters didn't think someone started the fire on purpose. They said it probably happened because the candles were too close to things that burn easily, and it was windy. Still, it made everyone really sad to see the pretty tree turn into a black mess when they just wanted to show Noah they cared. Noah's grandma, Cindy Jones, said the police gave Noah's body to her family. They planned a quiet goodbye just for close family and the helpers like police and firefighters. They also set a bigger remembering time for everyone on July 27th in Buckrow. The family asked people to give stuffed animals or toys to kid helpers in town for the holidays instead of other gifts. The Hampton police said the Jones family was officially in charge of Noah now. But no one was totally sure who Noah's real dad was. Cindy wrote on Facebook that she thought it was her son, Justin Jones. Justin didn't know about Noah because he moved to California before Julia told him she was having a baby. Cindy said Justin came back to Hampton on June 22nd, a few days after Noah went missing. Then, on June 25th, he got in trouble with the police for not following rules from before and was put in the Virginia Peninsula Regional Jail. He also got in bigger trouble for not telling people he did something wrong before he had to sign up as a sex offender because he hurt a girl who was 13 or 14 back in 2008. The court papers say he didn't go to jail for that back then. On July 29th, Julia went to court, but the judge said she couldn't go home and had to stay in jail. They moved her next big court day to December so her lawyers and the people saying she did something wrong could look at a special report from the doctor who checks bodies. That report was coming soon. In October, Noah's real dad talked to Channel 13 News. Noah's grandma, Cindy Jones, said her son Justin Jones was Noah's dad. But the news didn't say his name or show his picture because people were saying mean things about him online. They said court papers proved the man they talked to was Noah's dad. But we're not totally sure if it was Justin. The man they talked to was from North Carolina. He said he didn't know he was Noah's dad until it was too late. He told them, "People are mad at me, saying I should have helped Noah and it's my fault he died. But how could I help if I didn't even know he was my kid?" When they asked if things could have been better for Noah if he'd known, he said, "I'm sure they would have been better." He thought he might be Noah's dad back in 2017, but Julia told him Noah wasn't his, and to leave her alone. He listened to her and stayed away. Then, a few weeks after Noah went missing, someone in his family said Noah looked like him. But he still didn't do anything because Julia told him not to. After Noah died, he took a test to see if he was the dad, and it said yes. He got really mad and said, "I'm so angry. I would have taken Noah away from her because she was using drugs." He didn't want to be with Julia anymore because of the drugs, but if he'd known Noah was his, he would have tried hard to keep him safe. He thinks Julia should stay in jail forever. On October 31st, a big lawyer named Anton Bell said Julia was in big trouble. They said she did something called homicide, which means hurting someone so bad they die, and she also hid Noah's body in a wrong way. A special doctor who checks bodies found out Noah died because someone hit him really hard, called blunt force trauma, and he had something called battered child syndrome, which means he got hurt a lot. When they looked at Noah's body, they saw he had lots of broken bones, even his head was broken in 2 places, and that's why he died. His body showed he'd been hurt over and over. When they found him, His body was so old and falling apart that they could only tell it was him by his liver and one leg. They had to call a bone expert to help put the rest of his broken pieces together. Lawyer Bell said Noah's hurts were so bad, it's like he fell from a really tall building. The way he was hurt stopped his bones from growing right. I'm sure he was hurt on purpose a lot. Julia needs to go to jail for this, and never be near babies again. They also saw Noah had old hurts like a broken jaw, broken ribs, and signs he'd been shaken hard. The doctor said Noah didn't grow big because of all this. Bell said the check showed Noah stopped eating sometimes because he was in so much pain it hurt too much to eat. Julia was also in trouble for not taking good care of her other two kids at home, who were 8 months old and 3 years old. In December, Julia had a first court meeting where 14 people talked against her. One was a special police lady from the FBI named Lisa Ludo. She talked to Julia on June 28th, 5 days before they found Noah's body. Julia told her that on June 24th, Noah got water in his lungs and hit his head in the bathtub. She tried to help him breathe with CPR, then put him on the bed and saw he wasn't alive anymore. But later, Julia said she made that up just to show something. She also told Lisa she put Noah in an empty diaper box, wrapped it in trash bags, and called her friend Timothy Carter to throw it away. She said Tim didn't know Noah was inside. This story made the police start looking in big trash places called landfills. Another man, Brad Bailey, told the judge he was the dad of one of Julia's kids. He said he brought her drugs the night before she said Noah was missing. He said, "She called me 10 times that day asking for drugs." He stayed at her house after giving her the drugs to see his kid. He saw Noah in the living room with 2 other kids and said Julia was the only grown-up there. Julia later told the FBI she did use drugs that night. Another man, Brian Nall, said people weren't sure if he was Noah's dad. That night, he brought his daughter to see Noah. When he asked Julia if they could see him, she said Noah was sleeping. He asked if they could just peek in his room quietly, but Julia said, "Well, he's asleep." The people trying to prove Julia did something bad think Noah might already have been gone then. The police officer who found Noah's body said it looked and smelled so bad he had to walk away because it was too hard to see. Other police told the judge how they looked for Noah at the steam plant by cutting open trash bags and digging through them with their hands or rakes. Julia was supposed to go to a big court day in March 2020, but her helpers, called the defense team, wanted a doctor to check her mind first, so it got moved. In July, a judge said she was okay to have a trial, and they picked a new day in April 2021. She couldn't go home and had to stay in jail until then, but the trial got pushed back again because new helpers from a group called the Public Defender's Office took over. They asked for more time to look at all the clues, but the judge thought they were being too slow. He told those helpers to stop and gave Julia a new one, which made the trial wait even longer. Then, out of nowhere, in December 2021, Julia said she did it. She said she was guilty of something called second-degree homicide, which means she hurt Noah so bad he died. But it wasn't planned. She also said she was guilty of not taking care of him right by hiding his body. The other troubles about not caring for her kids didn't go to court because there weren't enough rules about it. She didn't make a deal to say she was guilty. Lawyer Anton Bell was ready to have a big trial with lots of people deciding in January, but when Julia said she did it, he had to agree. In court, Lawyer Bell told the story again. First, Julia said she put Noah to bed and he was gone when she woke up. Then she changed it, saying she was using drugs and left Noah alone in the bathtub and he drowned. She said she put his body in a Huggies box, wrapped it in trash bags, and asked a friend to throw it away and bring cleaning stuff. She told them her friend didn't know Noah was in the bag when he threw it in a dumpster far away. But Bell said, "That's not the real story. The doctor's check showed Noah died because he was hit hard a lot, not because he drowned. His body was hurt so bad it was like he fell off a tall building, and his head broke in half. They found Noah's blood on his bedroom walls, sheets, and a baby shirt in the trash." Bell said Julia kept hurting Noah over time, and it got worse. When they asked about Noah's body, he didn't say much but said, "Think of a baby with no arms or legs, just a little hair left." Julia's sister, Teresa, said Julia didn't do it, and only said she was guilty because she was scared. Teresa said Noah fell off his bed and hit his head on a toy box that morning. She was mad she couldn't tell her story in court, saying, "Julia's so afraid because everyone's against her. I had to hide my name for 3 months. I know what really happened, but they wouldn't let me talk." On July 25th, 2022, Julia went to court to find out how long she'd stay in jail. Her helper, called an attorney, told the judge Julia had a tough time growing up and started using drugs when she was young. He said her parents and a boyfriend hurt her when she was a teenager. He told them that on the day Noah died, Julia couldn't remember everything because she was using drugs and alcohol, so her mind was all mixed up. The lawyer trying to prove she did wrong, Anton Bell, said Noah was hit so much his little body couldn't handle it anymore. Dying was like a friend to him because he couldn't take the hurting. It was really, really bad. One of Julia's daughters talked in court too. She asked the judge to give her mom the longest time in jail. She said, "My mom, Julia Tomlin, was never a good mom. She only cared about herself and never put us kids first, even when she said she did. All her kids were taken away, and they should have never gone back to her." She also said Noah had it the worst. In his 2 little years, he only saw hate and meanness from the mom who was supposed to love and keep him safe. In Virginia, the rules say the longest time for second-degree homicide is 40 years. For not taking care of a kid right, it's 10 years. And for hiding a body, it's 5 years. The big judge, Michael Gatton, told Julia he'd feel bad if he didn't give her the longest time the rules allowed. So, he gave her the toughest punishment, minus 40 years plus 10 years plus 5 years, all added up one after the other, making 55 years in jail. She's staying at a place called Fluvanna Correctional Center in Troy, Virginia. Noah's body was turned into ashes and put in a special spot at Park Lawn Memorial Park in Hampton, under a little stone with a teddy bear on it. The homemade remembering spot by his house in Buckrow Beach is gone now, even the tree that was there. All that's left is an empty spot where the tree used to be. It's not there anymore, just like Noah. Noah Tomlin was a sweet boy who should have had a long, happy life, but like the tree by his memorial, he's gone forever too.